Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that she gave me the ick at a family dinner? Interesting.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I, 32 male, am dating my girlfriend Jenny, 27 female, for almost a year now, and we've met each other's families. Jenny is an only child of an Asian family while I'm half and half with one younger sister, Anna, 21 female. Anna and I are close despite our age gap. Our parents both worked demanding jobs, and I would babysit slash chaperone for many years of her bratty teen years. In recent months, I've noticed that whenever Anna comes up in conversation, Jenny would joke about how Anna is overly spoiled by my parents, and sorry, this person can't spell, and how we've created a princess. Last week at a family dinner with my parents, I felt like Jenny was overly grilling Anna on school life slash dating life. At one point, Anna was telling a story of how a first date gave her the ick by not pulling out his wallet after the meal and let her foot the whole full meal. So I guess she paid for the meal.
Yeah, I feel you.
Jenny laughed and said that not every man will treat her to dinner like her brother would and that you need to lower your standards. I was not happy about this comment as it sounded like my sister didn't deserve to be treated with basic respect and also didn't want to embarrass Jenny. Jennifer then went on to talk about how that would have never happened to her as men see her as quote unquote high value. I don't know what about this comment that just pissed me off, but I said that she was giving me the ick and to stop talking to my sister like that. The argument we had when we got home was massive, and Jenny told me that I was overreacting to a little comment that would make me a terrible father because I would always favor my sister over everyone else. How does that have anything to do with fatherhood? I'm shocked. I'm shocked at being called a terrible father, and honestly, I don't think I was wrong in this, but I need another opinion. Was I the asshole?
Did his girlfriend call herself a high value girl?
Yeah.
And that would never happen to me in this situation because people
she's a high value.
So she trying to imply that the sister is a low value individual.
Right.
I feel you.
And then that's when the boyfriend said, "You're giving me the ick."
Yeah.
And then she spun it into saying how blah blah blah.
I don't think I could be with that person.
Okay.
I don't think.
Talk about it.
One, you disrespected my family.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know why, but what's the grudge she has with the sister? Is it because she had people in her life who have taken care of her?
Right.
Why is that like something to sit on?
I think
you know
it's
what I mean?
jealousy, to be honest with you.
Because maybe she had a harder life being able to do, but seeing somebody who, like, in a way, like, this is kind of what I wanted growing up, and this is not what I have.
Yeah.
Like, why are you targeting my sister?
Right.
Just because I treated her well, just because my father treated her well, you know? And her seeing that I was on a date and this is not how I want to be treated, I think that's incredible because at least she has standards knowing that this is the person who I don't want to be with because they're not willing to do that for me, you know?
Right.
And another thing that I thought was, why is she calling my sister low value? Do you have any shame for yourself? Like, do you not know that this is my biological sister?
Yeah.
What does that mean for me? You know, and if you're talking about my sister like that, how are you going to talk about other people? You know, like you seem like you are one who is toxic, talks ill of people. And do I want to really make a future with somebody like that? Do I want to have kids with somebody like that? I think this was a good lens to see this is the type of person who she is in actuality. And this may not be who he wants to be with for the rest of his life.
100%. 100%. I agree with that statement in full, to be honest with you. And it's like you're saying, it's a good indication of who this person really is and their true colors really showing. And it's also weird too, because it's like, why do you have a grudge against how my sister was raised or how his sister was raised? Like, what does that have anything to do with you about? You know what I mean? So what? She was spoiled. You've never seen spoiled people before?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that way of thinking or that form of jealousy because it literally has nothing to do with you. You're just literally saying, I didn't have what you had and I hate you for it. And that just to me is like, it's a sign of immaturity. That's a sign of entitlement. You know, that's just a sign of all negative things towards this person. And it should be a clear indication that this is one thing that happened and it won't be the last instance of some kind of character showing, you know, from your girl.
Yeah.
I get chastising her a little bit about seeing some like if we see some characteristics in a guy and that we don't think that characteristic a grown man should have, and we're close enough, we may chastise him a little bit about it, right? She may have seen other characteristics in women that she sees a little bit in his sister that she's trying to chastise her about. The only like the road she was headed with the low value thing is where that's too far. Now you're past chastising now. Now you're just disrespecting the family.
Right.
And this is a family that you're trying to get serious with him, so you're trying to join this family and saying that the whole thing about them, and then not saying that's a comment on you because you're around these people now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it didn't make sense. I get, but me, I'm not a fan of anyone making a comment about anyone's family. That's never been my personality. But I understand the, hey, like, this is what certain relationships do. This is what certain people do, and try to guide her a little bit because I don't think there's any other than the mother. I don't think there's any sisters in the family, right? You didn't mention anything
No.
like that.
No.
So I get trying to guide a younger girl, but I don't get trying to go disrespect everybody and trying to involve yourself in making that your position. If it's not a guiding light, then you're just wasting your breath, and you just may have put a crack in the foundation of a relationship.
I want to push back a little bit. I get where you're coming from, where it's like maybe she needs more women around her to tell her, like, to be that guiding light that you spoke of. But I don't think that in any perspective, like in any point of view, that she was coming at it from like a nice perspective. From the beginning, she was like, why don't you lower your standards? You know? She was like, if this is the type of men that are looking for you, maybe this is what you should accept. That's the first red flag. She was like, if these are the type of men you attract, she'll be okay with it. In the same breath, she said, but that wouldn't ever happen to me because I'm a high value woman. So she basically said in that perspective that I attract the type of men who pay for my dinners, and you'll never attract that. So that just looks like, in her way, she was kind of putting the totem pole that I'm here and you're right here, you know? And how do you think guidance comes from somebody who already perceives you as lesser than?
No,
You know?
but I'm saying the way she played it out
Mm-hmm.
was it, and a tone is everything.
I
How
agree.
you're saying stuff is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one space, you're being disrespectful. In another space, yeah, where are you meeting these guys? What type of guys are
I get what
you
he's saying too.
attracted?
It could be
I
you
get
can
it,
make the
yeah.
assumption that although she communicated it poorly,
Mhm.
she was mainly trying to make the gesture or the point that the younger girl should be more like her, in the sense that she sees herself as a high value
I
person.
didn't see it as
I'm
that.
saying that's what
Yeah.
it could be.
Oh,
That's how
She tone of
she could
voice.
be.
She said another
Okay.
way.
That's how she could be putting it
Yeah.
out there in her mind, but it was completely received differently because
Mhm.
of the choice of words that she
Okay.
used. You know, so
I
I
fair
think
enough.
she could still, like, to your point. I think she could still have. There's a possibility that she could mean well
Mhm.
with what she's saying. It's just her choice of words is completely disrespectful.
I don't think he was coming at her from like that perspective though. But I see your point. If she was, she should have said it a little differently. But in my head, she was trying to put hierarchy. It's like, you're below me. I'm with like your brother.
Mhm.
And in a way, she was kind of trying to, in my head, it's like she was trying to take away from the relationship. And you get it what I mean? Like,
I see. Yeah.
she's trying to reel in the brother, so she's more on his side because she thinks that he's kind of babying her.
Mhm.
So they could be more solidified, and the sister can be more on an island alone. That's
Right.
how I see it. She, in her way, she was kind of like creating a plan in which her support system is being taken away from her. You know, because she feels threatened that the person that she's with is supporting another person. You know,
Now
that's
that,
how I see it.
now that I think about it a little bit more, though, and just bouncing off your point again, like, it could, like, what she said could have been taken out of context. You know,
Mhm.
obviously, I don't agree with how she phrased what she said, right? But since there is an age gap between them,
Mhm.
she could be trying to weirdly guide her to a lifestyle that she's actually living and that she wants the little girl to live in a harsh way. You know what I mean? It sounds worse than it actually is, but there is some sort of, like, care for the person still. You know, it's like you're a young person,
Mhm.
you're just experiencing dating and men in a certain way. You should do it in the way that I've done it so that you can get to a position like me and consider yourself a high value person.
Okay.
Right. So in that sense, it could be like she could be trying to help this girl work towards getting more like her.
Mhm.
But the way she's saying it is completely throwing the guy off because
Okay, let
he's
me ask you
seeing
a
that as
question.
disrespect.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say you were the girl in the situation, and
Which girl?
you were the little sister.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
and somebody was giving you advice in that same tone. Okay, even though let's say there's a possibility that they're supporting you, would you want to be given advice in that manner?
No, I don't agree with
I
how it
think we
was
all agreed
phrased.
there.
No, what I mean is like that was never welcomed. If you're going, in my opinion, if you're going to in your own crooked way think you're providing me advice in a tone that's disrespectful, keep your words to yourself. I don't need to know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
Like,
that's how you're receiving it, right?
yeah,
But the person is sending it out to you in good faith, you know?
that's not
So
good faith.
they need work on their dialogue, their approach, their
Yeah.
tone, you know? But their intentions are still good, is what I'm trying to say.
But the point I'm trying to make is if you're an older individual,
Right.
and you're trying to give me advice,
Right.
and you need maturing in the aspect of communication,
Right.
are you somebody who should be giving advice?
Can I give you
Well,
a
that's the
great
thing, though. I don't consider that to like obviously yes, she does need to change how her dialogue is, right?
Yeah.
But there is such a thing as tough love, you know, people being hard on somebody else
Mhm.
to show them a certain way, a certain lifestyle, you know,
Okay.
without being so overly nice.
Sure.
And I think that the approach really matters of how you want to like how you approach that
Yeah.
is really really it's a huge effect on the
Okay.
conversation, you know. So I don't agree with how it was done,
Yeah.
but I can see a way in which the intentions were still good.
Okay. Okay.
Is what I'm
What are you
trying to
about
say.
to say?
Shaq is a great example of that.
Yeah.
If he just says stuff, and he says, "I have G14 classification. I'm trying to give these guys the game. I'm trying to give these guys the answers to that." He says all that
Yeah.
while coming off a little bit aggressive,
Right.
and some people take him as, "Yo, you're a hater. You're all this," and he feels like he's giving people advice.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I disagree with that point because at the end of the day, Shaq, the term tough love still means there's love.
Right.
I don't see any like form of affection that this girl has for this sister to the point where you were saying like Shaq, he always, and I watch TNT religiously, right? I see what he says to people like Ben Simmons or people like Rudy Gobert or people like John Morant. Like he gives them advice in a tone that is still supportive. Tough, in my opinion, tough love only comes from an avenue of I still support you. This sister, or not sister but girlfriend, doesn't seem to have any affection towards the sister. It was more like he was demeaning her. I think there's a difference between I want to support you, and this may sound a little harsh. Or then what the girlfriend came and she was like, "This is actually how it is, and you're beneath and you're below me." There's two different things.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think with disrespect, both parties know it's disrespect.
Okay.
With stuff that can be taken out of context, one party will know and the other party will not know. Right. And I think that that's this, it could be the scenario we're in right now or we're reading right now because one person feels disrespected and the other person doesn't feel like they did anything wrong. Right. Because she said to her man, "You're overreacting." And then, you know, she started to go left with it, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm trying to basically play devil's advocate in the sense that this person could have a tough time with communication,
Mhm.
but their intentions can still be good. Like the point you were trying to make before. I was more so thinking about when Shaq made the comment to Donovan Mitchell
Okay.
after they won some game. I don't remember what game they won, but he said, and this was when he was on the Utah Jazz. He said, "You're a really good player, but I don't think you'll win a championship. Or I
Okay.
don't think you'll be a finals. I don't think you're that guy."
Sure.
And then just left it at there. And a lot of people in the like comments and media, they were like, "Shaq's a hater. Why would he say that to him?" Blah
Okay.
blah blah. And his cover up or his um, explanation of that was, "I was just trying to get him angry so that he'll be motivated."
Okay.
And obviously, that doesn't work on everybody. That's
Yeah.
the tough love approach. It
Yeah.
doesn't work on everybody, but the intentions are good.
Okay.
Is basically what he was trying to describe to
Okay.
the media, the world, right? Even though what he said was demeaning, it was very came off disrespectful.
Yeah.
He said, "I wanted to ignite something in him so that he'll understand." And this is coming from Shaq too.
Mhm.
So he sees himself already as a higher position
Yeah.
and he's just trying to pass on light to the kid.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this scenario like it could have been that
Mhm.
in Jenny's mind, but the way she came across was completely disrespectful.
But you know why I even disagree with that even further now is because Shaq is a proven champion.
Right.
He can talk that talk because he comes from a perspective of championship.
Yeah.
Going back to this girlfriend, he's in a relationship with this guy, and even providing advice on how to be seen by men. After the fact, the same boyfriend that she claims that I have succeeded in getting this, because that's her thing, right? Because I can give you relationship advice. That same relationship is in peril because this guy doesn't feel comfortable at you talking this way. So are you really a master at what you say you are? Because you're the own relationship that you have is in peril.
I think that's a little unfair because
Why?
there's no such relationship that's perfect. Every relationship
It's
gets
different,
rocky. Every relationship has arguments. Every relationship has disagreements.
Okay.
This is just one instance of it. I don't think that this could be like a boiling point to the point where they break up, but I don't think this one instance will be the definition of whether they're together or not.
But there's a difference between being proven and having it than talking.
She's still with the guy, and she's been with the guy.
I would love to know if there was an update, but not saying like not adding more to the story. But if you're going to talk that talk, you gotta have what you say.
She does.
It doesn't look like that thing is solid to me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Why not though?
Because this guy, it could be a deal breaker for him, and that deal breaker may be the reason why they may go their own separate ways.
Do you think if this comment was the first instance of this, it would be a deal breaker?
What do you mean?
Like if this was the first time the guy found or realized that his girl doesn't fuck with his sister based off of this, do you think that should end the relationship?
Personally, for me, if I'm putting myself in this perspective, if I had a significant other,
right,
and it just came out of left field and she was disrespecting my sister, personally for me, that may be a deal breaker. Because I don't want that type of...
There's a conversation that's going to be had.
That's true.
You're going to understand intentions. I don't think that with the information we're presented with, it's a deal breaker.
That's why I said I would love to know if there was an update.
But regardless, if they did break up, she still feels like I'm in the position in life that I could attract another guy like this. That's what she's, I think, expressing.
But you don't see the failure in it?
All this, again, is just about...
She's the Shaq in this scenario.
Yeah.
She has the G14 classification.
She doesn't.
Why doesn't she, though?
Because...
She's still in this relationship.
No, to have G240 classification, you have had to have been proven in whatever you're talking about.
But what is the point that you're trying to make that she...
That doesn't sound like a solidified relationship to me.
Based off this one instance?
Based off of what could happen next. Because he clearly feels threatened that this is what you're talking about my family.
So she doesn't have the right to give advice.
That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you're coming at it from a perspective of like, I'm in a great position, and in reality, after the fact, you guys are in peril. But are you really speaking at it from a... like? In
the time she was making the comment, there was no peril. She was saying this based off of her current
But after
situation.
the fact, it's still a thing where after the fact...
I don't think that's the make or break, though. I don't think that's a point in which she can see that as a failed relationship. She's still in a successful relationship. They're just going through a rough patch.
Sure. Okay.
There's no relationship that's perfect. That's the point I was trying to make. I'm trying to say that when she's giving advice, she's still looking at herself with G14 classification. She has no right to think she doesn't have that.
And I think she doesn't have any right to believe she does. That's my whole thing.
Based off what, though?
Based off of her, like I said it 3 times, based off of her believing that what she owns, like she thinks she attracts these men. But in reality, if after the fact, if there is an update to this, if this same man leaves her, are you able to talk, like, are you able to still have that same standpoint knowing that the same reason that you were giving advice is that person has gone out of the picture?
If that does happen, then yeah, you have a leg to stand on, but we don't know that.
Okay.
Based off the information we have is what I'm saying. She can present, or she can give advice to the younger sister because she's in a successful, committed relationship with her brother. She's thinking, I don't
think it's successful though, but to each their own.
It could not be successful based off of this after the fact. We need to see an update, but with the information we know, at the time she was giving the advice to the girl, if it was even advice, it could be hate still. I don't agree that it was advice. I just think that there could be a scenario in which that she was having good intentions. I just think that...
Brother, you really think she was having good intentions? Be real.
I think it's possible, yeah.
No, keep it a buck. Do you think she had good intentions?
I think it's possible. I'm not
out of 100%, what are the chances she had good intentions?
50-50.
50-50? Yo, you're nuts. You're crazy.
I'm being real. Everybody...
You actually think she came at it from a good perspective?
No 2 people are the same, fam. Some people have issues with communications. Some people have issues with relationships.
Okay.
Everybody's got their issue. This could be an issue for her. I'm trying to say that it's 50-50 because she could be a very bad communicator, but have good intentions.
Okay.
There's a possibility there.
And
she could also just be hating on the little sister because she's jealous of her. and that's a good possibility based off what we know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's still there's not enough information for me to know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like if she had another instance where she was targeting the little sister and that was brought up in the scenario, then I'd say, okay, this is a pattern. But
Okay.
from what we know, I just think that it could be misconstrued.
Sure.
If my girl did that to my little sister, if I had a little sister, I'd want to know, like, yo, what the fuck were you trying to do there? Like, you just hating on my little sister? And if she tells me no, I'm trying to give her advice and be like, okay, you got to do it a different way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do it a better way where we understand you're giving advice. It sounds like, hey, that's a conversation we would have.
Okay.
Right. But until that conversation is had, I got to put it 50-50. I don't know what she's thinking.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm assuming you agree.
Yeah. It's all about. I'm big on come at me the right way with your message, and she clearly feels like regardless of this, if this relationship perishes,
Mm-hmm.
I can attract another high value guy because I know how to now.
Okay.
And I think that's what she was trying to express. But yeah, she just needs to like Shaq. She just needs to change her tone of voice and say what you're trying to say without comparing it to yourself.
Got you.
Like, I understand Shaq. I know a lot of people don't. Like, I understand he has good intentions, but I can also see the world not understanding that that is a form of communication that people have. It may not be the greatest, but it's just some people don't talk the way we talk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's their intentions matter more. Is what I'm trying to say.
Fundamentally, I just disagree with you assuming that Shaq and her are the same, are giving the same type of tough love. That's my thing.
Fair,
I don't agree with that,
fair.
and I think we'll leave it at that.
Asshole, asshole, asshole.
I think
I think she's still the asshole for how she delivered the message.
Guy's not the asshole though.
he didn't do
Guys,
anything.
what did he do?
He said that he made a comment back there, right? He said you're giving me the ick right now, or something like that.
No, I don't think even if he said that, I don't think he's the asshole.
Yeah, that's all he's asking is, am I the asshole for standing up for my sister? Pretty much.
No,
No,
that's what you're supposed to do.
honorable. Don't even
Mhm.
think about it. If I was gonna comment on this, I would say you need to have a real conversation with your girl
Mhm.
immediately, like
Okay.
a real like a genuine conversation with your girl, and find out what her true intentions are. Because if they're bad, you need to run.
Fair
If
enough.
they're good, she needs work. That's just my point.
Agreed.
Leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you think in the comments below. We need to know: are you team Warsami? Are you team Slim and Mukhtar? We need to know.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.